Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into a new edition of the Batter Up Podcast, sponsored by the Dugout Melwood here on the Sports Insanity Network. Top of the lineup with you, Danny Boy Reginald, the old ops guy, Mike Rifkin. Gentlemen, good morning. How are we?
We are doing, we are doing.
If you're on the East Coast, try and stay cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be another scorcher.
However, but Mike, before you get started, I'm going to say happy 19th anniversary to me and my wife. I love her so much. She has not killed me or poisoned me yet. We're there. We're going to be together for a very long time.
There we go. How she dealt with you for 19 years is beyond us.
Trust me, she's taken advantage of me. This is a woman I love. I was in so much pain one night. I was on a lot of pain medication before surgery. And she said, let's play Scrabble. Yeah, she beat me like 450 to 27 or 38 or whatever it was. But she needed a win. And she got it. I love my wife very much. Now let's talk baseball.
All right. We got a lot to cover. I do want to start with news from last night. In the Blue Jays Phillies game, Max Scherzer, who needed 4 strikeouts to pass Walter Johnson on the all-time strikeouts list, he got it. He is now 10th all-time in strikeouts with 3,516. So, congratulations to Max Scherzer. As who knows, maybe this is the end of the line too for him. So,
does he have another 20 years in him to try to get to 5,000?
No, I don't know if he's got another year based off of injuries this year.
More of a joke.
No, I understood, but we also have streaks ending last night. Bill Murphy's favorite team, the Boston Red Sox, their 9-game winning streak ended at the hands of the Athletics. But Dan, the Red Sox have been red hot, it feels like, for about 2 months now.
Right.
It's unreal.
Can I just say something real quick about the Red Sox streak? Whatever that we want to call it nowadays, because while it's no longer a continuous winning streak, it hasn't been for a while. The team just couldn't stop winning. They couldn't stop winning. And they caught up to the Yankees. So it's one of the ages that's just so remarkable. And I give the Red Sox and the organization a lot of credit for, not giving up and sticking with it. And, and now they're in a true pennant race. So it's truly amazing. Good news that the Yankees won. So we actually got a little separation from Boston. Just a tad separation, which is just brilliant. Love it.
And Mark, a great thing for the Red Sox is they're going to get healthier because Adley Rutschman started his rehab assignment. He's probably back within a week. And they're also going to get Garrett Crochet back at some point, too.
This team is doing things that the Oakland A's team did during the Moneyball era. They're winning not because they're obliterating and all they're doing is hitting home. No, they're playing a lot of small ball. And as Dan and Mike and myself and other members of the network have stated that while the home run is great, it's fun, it's exciting, it puts runs on the board, small ball will put more runs on the board for you. As The Red Sox are getting on base. They are almost better than a 3.8 percentage, 0.38 on base percentage. That's incredible. It doesn't sound high, but that's not one person, it's an entire team. Mike, you pointed it out. The Adley Rushman trade, we're going to see what it's going to be. You got a switch hitting catcher, and one of the greatest hitting venues for him would be the Green Monster, but he can turn to the other side and poke it down that right side on that short porch. So Boston didn't is not just good; they got better. And now that they're getting Rutschman and Crochet back, that little bit of room that Dan is happy about, and he has a right to be. I mean, it's a game and a half. I'd be happy to be that type up on Atlanta, but that's not our case. The Red Sox are the Monstars.
And they're kind of that sleeping giant in the American League that you're just, oh boy, because they've been playing well for about 2 months now. We brought up Rutschman. He's coming back into the lineup. You have Wilson Contreras doing his thing. Rafael, the center fielder, has been
Sedan, yeah.
unbelievable. They're stealing. They get on. They steal bases. They do the little things. It's really fun to watch.
There are guys. Sorry, Mike. Danny, there are guys on that team who can hit the home run, but Mike pointed it out. They get on, they steal, they get early leads because of it.
Yeah.
This is a good baseball team. And even Dan, as a Yankee fan, has to have a little bit of worry.
No.
Well, I mean, here's the deal, dude. With the way everything is set up right now, the Red Sox and the Yankees are going to meet each other again in the wild card series, which terrifies me because the Red Sox, I know the Yankees, they were able to find a way to win last year, but can we be honest? Until the Yankees have a continuous series streak against the Red Sox, they're gonna own them in the playoffs. That hasn't gone away yet, just because they won a wild card series. First things first, while the wild card series is great, it'd be better if the Yankees had beaten them in like an ALCS or something. You know, something or a division series, something that's bigger than the wild card that can move you forward into the American League playoff. So it does terrify me. They're a good team. They can't be stopped right now. And I know they lost, but all teams lose. You know, it's all about what you do moving forward. What was it like? Was it 34, 33 in their last God knows how many?
Yeah, it's like 32 of 40, something like that.
It's absurd. The run that they're on.
Mike just said it correctly, 32 of 40.
32 of 40. Yeah. So.
But by the way, the Yankees and Red Sox will meet at the end of August for Yankee Stadium.
4-game series, and
There's
including
a doubleheader on the 29th.
Because of a makeup. They had a rain out.
Dan, that series could literally be for that wild card spot.
Well, the series is going to determine who's hosting the wild card series. It's going to be Yankees Red Sox because this American League is incredibly weak. The Yankees are not going to fall off.
It's true.
No one's wild card. It's impossible, you know. And with the way these young ducklings over in the Bronx are handling business, you know, yesterday,
beating Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah, no, 2 in a row versus Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's very brave of them to actually win some games.
Amen to that. You know, Lombard hit Apple Taco, which I never expected from him. I didn't think he had the ability to do that. And then I forget, was it yesterday, Friday, or one of the games against St. Louis where I think Spencer Jones tripled? I mean,
Spencer Jones tripled, I believe, yesterday.
yeah, what? I'm telling you, man. Like, they're, I hope they center around these kids that are coming up because. Obviously you have Bellinger for a while. You're still gonna have Judge. You're gonna have Ben Rice. Ben Rice, who's killing it. Another home run yesterday. Um, that series in August, Yankees Red Sox, is going to determine who's hosting the wild card series. Because I have a tough time believing the Yankees are going to fall off to a point where they're at the third wild card. They're not. That's not going to happen. This American League is too weak, and being real with you. The fact that the Texas Rangers, for a time being, was under 500 and in a wild card spot proves exactly my point.
Yeah, that's it's a whole nother conversation. On the flip side, in the National League, we had a heavyweight series this week, and one team that looked like they were spiraling won last night. The Dodgers ended their 7-game losing streak with a 2-1 win over the Diamondbacks. But earlier this week, Mark, the Cubbies sent a little message, sweeping the Dodgers at Wrigley, including winning the Tarek Skubal debut.
Well, that's the true key there. And it's not that they ruined Tarek Skubal. Mike said it right. They ruined Tarek Skubal's debut. And if any pitcher wants to tell you anything, your first impression into your fans is one of the most important things you can do. Now, this is Tarek Skubal, ladies and gentlemen. He's allowed to F up. He really is. He's allowed to have a bad game.
And he didn't even pitch bad.
He didn't pitch horrible. They just had his number. That's all. Okay? I have beyond mad respect for Tariq Skubal. I hate the fact that he's not. I hate the fact that he's on the Dodgers. Whatever. But I have said I have agreed with Mike. I've agreed with Dan and Bill's point. The Cubs are the real threat here, and they just swept them. There was, as far as I know, there was no major injury on the Dodgers team. Every starter was in its rightful position. The pitchers were the same pitchers that were gonna pitch no matter what. So what happened? The Cubs let them know that we'll see you come October.
One of the things we thought the Dodgers had kind of cured was their bullpen when they brought in Edwin Diaz. Hasn't worked because Edwin Diaz has given up 4 runs in his last 3 appearances. He's got right now an ERA over 10. Obviously, the Dodgers are in the position they're in, but they're going to get Blake Snell back on Tuesday, it looks like. Glass now probably not too far behind. But, man, that's a message sent by the Cubs. The Dodgers, they played a lot of baseball over the last number of years. Maybe it's caught up to them a little bit here.
I mean, look, there's nobody catching the Dodgers when it comes to the NL West.
No,
They have
no.
8.5 game lead on Arizona. And unless Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, I don't want this to happen. Please don't, please, God. And Mookie, well, I really don't think they'll miss Mookie Betts, no offense. We're all to go down for season-ended injuries. They have the depth to at least get farther until they could get healthy. I think there is no stopping this Dodger team from getting to the NLCS. It's just a well put together team.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
They're going to get Snell back. They'll probably get Glass now back at some point. You still have Yamamoto and Sasaki, obviously with Tarek Skubal. Would you just shut Otani, the pitcher, down for the rest of the year and just let his bat do its thing?
100%. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I just cut you off at your end. I'm sorry. 100%. I would take Otani's name out of the rotation. Less chance for him to get injured. You're taking away a lot of factors. Line drive back at his head. Oh, he's got to sprint for a bunted ball. Hamstring gets. You're taking away a lot of chances for injury. You keep him in as a DH. You get to the playoffs. Let's say Snell's injured. No, it's a possibility. Let's say some of them are the Dodgers have said they're not going to bring him along. Let Otani pitch, come out of the pen one game as he's like kind of so quote unquote sitting out a game. But no, he's going to come out of the pen just to keep the arm warm. I think shut it down now. He'll probably be back to pitching somehow in the playoffs.
All right. So we'll see what happens with the Dodgers. But yeah, the Cubs send a big message, sweeping the Dodgers. I think they won 2 of 3 in LA as well. I'll double check that in a second. But speaking of Terry Skubal, he made some comments earlier this week about a reunion in Detroit. Skubal will be a free agent after the season, and he said this, quote, this was on Pardon My Take. Quote, I would love to play my entire career in Detroit. Hopefully those negotiations can pick back up once the playoffs are done. I would love to return. Close quote. Scott Boras is his representation. Mark, are you buying Tarek Skubal would want to go back to Detroit?
I don't think he ever wanted to leave in the first place. However, it was a business decision. It wasn't personal. So I think there's a high probability that the Tigers could offer him some type of deal. I don't think they can. I mean, look, we know they gave Miggy $300 million contracts, and stuff like that. The Tigers aren't an organization to give $500 million contracts. I would say something maybe a little bit less, but a way higher AAV, maybe a 3-year, $250 million contract could be worthy of it.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Oh yeah. Not in the words of Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber.
Shout out Jim Carrey.
Not a sponsor.
We wish. Dan, what about you? Do you think there's any chance Skubal would go back to Detroit?
I mean, is Scott Boras going to allow that to happen? I mean, look, Detroit's going to have to pay up, right? If they truly want him back. And because Scubal's going to want the money too. It's not just about the team he wants to play at. It's also about the money. I'm not stupid. I know how baseball works. You know, yes, okay, I believe Tarek Skubal when he says he wants to play in Detroit the rest of his career. I believe him, but I also don't believe this idea he'll just take whatever to go back there. No, he's gonna ask for a lot. So it's up to Detroit whether or not they want him back. They traded him. They got prospects. I mean, I don't know how those prospects are going to pan out, but they got prospects out of him. Can you continue to fleece the Dodgers by getting Skubal back? Now we have Dodger prospects that we don't know about. Hopefully they turn out to be studs, and then you get your star pitcher back. It'd be the biggest flex ever. But it's up to the Tigers to do that.
I think he nailed it. The ball's now in the court of the Tigers. Like if he hits free agency, or when he hits free agency, are you gonna talk? Are you going to show some sort of life contract, whatever it's got to be? Because to me, this situation should have never gotten to where it is.
Mhm.
They should have just paid him last year, given him the extension. That way we didn't have to
And
worry about
probably
this.
would have been cheaper too,
Yeah,
because he
listen,
went to he went to LA for a reason. He did this by design.
listen. He wants to win. He's
Help the
won.
Dodgers win and then
Right,
boost his market value. It's brilliant.
right. But here's the other part. Too. He's won two Cy Youngs.
Yeah.
What else does a guy have to do to prove to you that he deserves a contract? Like that's my thing. If you're the Tigers, that's your new Justin Verlander. That's the face of your franchise. And we all know what Scott Boras is going to do. Scott Boras is going to take him to the highest bidder, whether that be the Dodgers, whether that be the Phillies, whether that be the Mets, whether that be, the Savannah Bananas, if they're going to offer him that much. I don't think Tarek School's pitching for the Bananas, but,
No, but Kerry Wood is.
carry on my wayward son. But that's the motto of Scott, the MO of Scott Boras, highest bidder. Are the Tigers now going to shell out 250 for Tarek Skubal when you wouldn't do it a year ago? I just don't know. And I think in the eye of public perception, that would make the Tigers look worse in any deal. And Skubal looks like, hey, I said I'd go back. They just didn't want to offer me whatever it is I want. But there's gonna have to be a happy medium. So we'll see what happens. We got a long way to go before Skubal hits free agency anyway. So
First things first, let's see how he does the rest of the way.
nice.
Um,
It's true. 2 earned in 6 punch ups in 6 innings against the Cubs the other night.
he was pretty good. The Cubs just found a way to win.
I believe he's on the mound today. I'll double check that in a few minutes. But no. Speaking of pitchers,
Warbleski's on the mound today.
Robleski, okay, he's had a great year too.
Yes.
Shit.
Speaking of pitching, Paul Skeens and Pirate legend Paul Skeens has really struggled. In fact, the Pirates are 3-12 in Skeens' last 15 starts.
Yeah.
If you go to his first 9 starts of the year, Skeens had a 1.98 ERA. Over his last 15, it's a 5.20 ERA. And everything else is, well, his whip is up and his strikeout to walk ratio is way down. So, Mark, what is wrong with Captain Paul Skeens?
Sorry about that. Lost.
Paul Skeens.
Paul Skeens has some of the best stuff we've seen over the last few years. Here's my thing. Paul Skeens, the nowadays Matt Harvey, Steven Strasburg. What is our worry? The fact that he gets overused and a possible Tommy John surgery or shoulder capsule surgery or forearm stiffness, all these worries. He's had a poo-poo year. You can't expect every pitcher to be perfect every year. No, it's not going to happen, but this is irregular. My question is, has the league figured him out? If you watch enough tape, and I'm sure Dan has watched more than his fair share of tape when it comes to editing and what he's allowed to do and throw up on TV. So he knows what goes into editing. He's got to edit this season out of his head. He's got the yips, as it was politely said in Tin Cup. Okay. He needs a game where it's back to his command, back to his style of play, and to see him show the power and control that we were seeing 2 years ago. Dan?
Yeah, the big thing with Skeens is not necessarily he's under pressure or anything. He's in Pittsburgh. Like they're not very good. Um, the big thing with him is the consistency of his stuff. Like right now, we're seeing a Paul Skeens while he's ultra talented and can strike you out like nothing. Um, right now, what we're seeing is him being a little in over his head because of his struggles. It's as if he's trying to figure out what exactly he has to do to fix his thing instead of going back to what works. I don't know if that's a pitching coach issue. I don't know if it's him, like I said, maybe something's in his head, maybe he's thinking too much. Um, maybe the league caught up to him and he doesn't know how to adjust. That has certainly happened to many pitchers out there. I hope that's not the case because I think Skeets is ultra talented. So, what is it that's going on with him that he can't seem to figure out? And I would figure it out soon because sooner or later he's going to be in the market. And if he continues this little hole here that he's digging himself into, then, you know, what exactly is going to be his market? We see Scooble go out there and nail these batters every single time, on his way to two Cy Youngs in his very young career. And now his market value is going to explode because the Dodgers are going to three-peat and he's going to be involved in that. Meanwhile, Skeens is stuck in Pittsburgh and they can't win with him.
I think something both of you nailed was if this is the league adjusting to him, how does he adjust going forward? Is a big time question because we've seen all the great pitchers get knocked around. It's how you respond. Mark, for me, I go back to the 2015 Mets for a second. Do you remember the start Jacob deGrom had in Texas, where he got beaten around? And Terry Collins sat in the dugout next to him, put his arm around him, and said, "You're going to figure this thing out." Then I fast forward to October, and there was no one I wanted on the mound more in Game 5 at Dodger Stadium than Jacob deGrom. And he bulldogged his way through 6 innings, and the Mets found a way to win thanks to Daniel Murphy. Shout out to Murph. Paul Skeens, I think, hitting this rough patch necessarily isn't a bad thing. It's just now, how do you respond off of it? Because the Pirates are starting to fade a little bit here in the wild card standings. Now we have to see what the Pirates look like going forward. And Paul Skeens is the face of the Pirates at the moment. And he's got to figure this thing out because if he's not successful, then they're not successful. and that's going to be a problem for them going forward. So.
I truly believe that Skeens will work his way
Oh
through
yeah,
what's going on. He's very talented. One day future Hall of Famer, the provided, other things down the
if
road.
he has a great career.
Yeah. But if the Pirates miss the playoffs, how much is they going to say, oh, well, if Paul Skeens, you would have went on and won this game here that you blew. They're going to pick it. They're going to be able to be cherry pickers and pick all the mistakes that Skeens made that cost them the playoffs. And that's not fair. But as Mike said, he's the face of the organization. He's the one who, when reporters come in, want to talk to and want to get direct quotes, whether they're positive and or negative.
Yeah, so we'll see if Skeens can turn this thing around.
Well, the big thing with Skeens before we move on, Mike, is
Yeah, go ahead.
us baseball fans have the tendency to lean on recency bias
Yep.
with how players perform. And if Skeens continues to struggle, people are going to think about that and whether or not he's truly going to be an ace of the staff. Of course, don't get me wrong, we all believe that he's going to figure it out, and we know he's the ace of the staff. Ace of the staff is also the guy that you can rely on a game one situation, which we have not seen him in yet.
That's a fair point too, Dave. That's a very fair point. So, we'll see what happens. He's got a month, a little bit more than a month to turn this thing around. And look, even if the Pirates miss and he ends the season on a better note, maybe going into next year he's got a little bit more confidence in him, and the Pirates have a little bit more of an expectation. All right. So earlier, last week, since Sunday starts the week, we had two major anniversaries this week prior to Mark's. So the first happened Thursday. It was the anniversary where Hank Aaron passed Babe Ruth on the all-time home run record, on the all-time home run list. So that occurred last week. Also last week, which I didn't even realize this was a thing, that they happened coincidentally the same week. Bonds passed Aaron earlier in the week too. So August 7th is when Bonds passed Aaron, and August 6th is when Aaron passed Ruth. So just a little bit of baseball history for you.
It was a magical night watching Barry Bonds hit 756. I was watching it with my dad and my brother. We were glued to the TV screen. And I think we had it in like 5 different TV screens. We had a lot of TVs in the house. Um, because it's baseball history and it's something that you just don't want to miss. So uh, it was truly special to watch that happen.
And prior to, I think this was before MLB Network was a thing, ESPN would pause whatever they were airing
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
air a Barry Bonds at bat when he was on the cusp of Hank Aaron.
Well, I mean, Baseball Tonight was basically all we had.
Yeah,
In terms of
they go
national
live.
baseball coverage. That's why when they took it away, it hurt me. But MLB Tonight suffices. It's a good night. Good.
Baseball Tonight leading into Sunday Night Baseball with John Miller and Joe Morgan. That was the childhood. That was the childhood. So, and by the way, I just want to say this, and I'm not going to try to get anybody up in arms. Barry Bonds is a part of baseball history. Whether you like him, you don't like him, whether you think he took the steroids, he didn't take the steroids, I don't care. you will have to openly admit Barry Bonds was still a hell of a ball player.
I don't disagree. Okay, Mike, you know where I stand on it, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I
Oh,
watched.
I'd hope not. It's already dead.
I watched Barry Bonds play in Pittsburgh. I watched his transformation to San Francisco, and then the end. There's one confident thing I can say. He was one of the best outfielders I ever watched play the game. He could track a ball better, as proven in that All-Star game with the barehand catch. Um, the ball exploded off his bat while he was in Pittsburgh. He was a fantastic ball player. Whatever he's had to deal with otherwise is his own problem, not something we're talking about here. But yes, I will agree that Barry Bonds was a great ball player.
So just want to send out the happy anniversaries to both Bonds and Mr. Aaron. All right, on to some series over the next week to pay attention to. Massive one in the AL Central. The Guardians will go for play the White Sox today. Then they go to Detroit. Both teams still alive with a month to play. Guardians, Tigers. Dan, the Yankees will host the Mariners this week. Bill Murphy's Red Sox will go to Toronto, play the Blue Jays.
And that's more of an important series than it seems right now.
By the
Red
way,
Sox, to keep pace, need to take that series.
and the Blue Jays, even though they sold at the deadline, they're still technically alive in that wild card race because Dan said it. The American League sucks, although they shut out the National League in the All-Star game. But if the Blue Jays get Vladdy hot, he drove in 2 runs last night. Look how about the Blue Jays.
Yeah. 3.5 to be exact. They're 3.5 out of the last.
And going for the sweep of the Phillies today.
Yeah.
Boston is just on a tear of the likes I haven't seen in a long time from one team.
Yes.
Got the Orioles and the Twins, 2 teams still hanging on. I don't know what the Orioles are, man. I just cannot figure the Orioles out.
With the Twins sitting 1.5 back and the Orioles are at 3, it's an important series for both teams. It's going to put one team closer, or it's going to create literally an I-287 traffic jam.
I just can't figure the Orioles for the life of me.
Look, it's funny. It's a hot and cold season for them.
Yeah, so got that one. The Reds and the White Sox, which could be a lot of fun. 2 young, up and coming, exciting teams. Phillies, Cardinals, and then the Brewers and the Padres.
Look out for the Cardinals, man. Like, again, we mentioned it. They're still within striking distance of a playoff spot. They're trailing the Phillies by 3.5 games. So this is a massive series. If you're St. Louis, if you really want to show people that you're actually serious about being a playoff team. You beat the Yankees this week, 2 out of 3. Phenomenal. And so far having a good weekend. Continue having that good week. Beat the Phillies and just make yourself notice.
The next weekend, Cardinals, Cubs at Wrigley, White Sox, Tigers, Orioles, Rays, Padres, Guardians in interleague play.
Yeah.
D-backs, Braves, Mariners, Astros. Mariners, what are you? And then the
If there
Brewers and the Dodgers.
is Seattle starting pitching can just get a fire ignited, and we get to see the true George Kirby and what these guys have really done. Seattle can cause some haywire going into the end.
Listen, I think Seattle. I don't know what you're doing. They got scored some runs. They don't score.
My question is, we all saw what Cal Raleigh did last year, right? We all saw what Cal Raleigh did. From the start of the season till now, what has changed?
Yeah. He's had a down year. Julio hasn't had a great year, although I'm going to take the blame. I have him in fantasy. So
Julio hasn't had a good year since he won the home run derby.
Right.
But listen, I don't know. That's a weird team, man. They were one game away from the World Series, and now they're clinging to life. All right. Before we go ahead, Dan.
Mariners celebrate 50 years, by the way.
Yes, I did see that. Shout out to Lou was there at the ballpark
Love
yesterday.
seeing Lou Piniella.
Sweet Lou.
He's not as fiery as he used to be, but
By the way,
great manager.
also yesterday, the White Sox retired Ozzie Guillen's number.
Yes. Well deserved.
The Giants put up basically that entire infield from their 2010s World Series team. They went on a Wall of Fame.
Yeah.
And the Phillies honored Chase Utley. But I want to mention this. Giant broadcaster Mike Krukow announced at the end of the year he will be retired. Now, I cannot speak for Dan or Mark, but I can speak for me because I've always loved watching MLB Network. And when we get a Giant game and the Giant broadcast, Dwayne Kuiper and Mike Krukow, phenomenal broadcast duo.
No, he's a tremendous baseball treasure to the San Francisco area, to all of baseball, because we grew up, while we didn't grow up necessarily watching him on a daily basis, the fact of the matter is it was a treat knowing that we will have a national game at nighttime from the West Coast, and the Giant broadcast was one of those, and getting to listen to them is always a treat. So no, shout out.
Congrats on a fantastic career.
These guys said it all. I don't have to really say much. To me, he's up there in the lines of Vin Scully and stuff like that. A Los Angeles Dodger legend. It'll be like. Sorry, Mike. I keep cutting you off.
No, keep going.
No, it's like Vin Scully guy, and this guy. He has been a great announcer. He's been a great media analyst, and congratulations on a very, very good career.
So this gives me an idea, and it'll give us time to think. Next week, we will do our top 5 favorite broadcast duos, trios in baseball. Could be history, could be all time.
Say it again.
Top 5 favorite broadcast booths in the history of baseball.
Okay.
For the 3 of us. That'll be next week.
Yes.
But thank you for listening to this edition of the Batter Up Podcast, sponsored by the Dugout of Millwood here on the Sports Society Network. Mark, you got anything on the Dugout?
We are still waiting for PSA to send back our Lindor 101. Please, I need it.
All right. Like, comment, subscribe here to the YouTube channel. Go to the website, thesportsinsanitynetwork.com for great blogs, vlogs, planes, trains, and automobiles. Follow the socials. Facebook, The Sports Insanity Network. Twitter, Insanity Real. Dan and Bill will be live on YouTube tomorrow with SIP.
No, we won't.
Oh.
Bill is off tomorrow.
Oh, no Bill.
I may either go live or do a pre-tape.
Okay. So no SIP tomorrow. It returns Friday?
Yes.
It'll be live Friday.
Dan, if you want to go in the afternoon, I might be able to free up some time.
Well, let's make that we'll let you know.
Okay.
Oh, that's a tease.
Yeah.
That's a tease. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.